5 at 5. Educating. Empowering. Entertaining. We are the top 5.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the top 5. Before we go any further, I want to tell each and every one that this show is super hot. You need to come prepared for this show. I got my wine on hand because I think I'm going to get heated a little later. So we need to really thank everybody for coming in here. Tell your friends, tell your foes, tell everybody who you know to come and join us today on the top 5. We got hot topics, and one of the questions of the day is, are Black women too hard on Black men? So keep that in mind, and later on you'll be able to take a poll. Okay, you'll be able to chime in on this one. We got a lot of hot topics coming up. I don't even know where to begin, but we're going to start from the top. Okay, so like and share, and welcome everyone for coming in. Ladies, what has been going on with you guys this week?
You're talking about the last 5 or 10 minutes, or you want to know for the rest?
No.
Well, I mean, everything is great.
You can just begin wherever you want to begin.
I'm loving the fact that the rain is coming right now and it's cooling my spirits. And it's been great. It's been great.
Well, from Toronto, I've been loving the weather that we've been having.
Chemo Frederick, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Chemo and Cheryl. This is Juliana.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to welcome some of our guests too. Yes, there's a bit of a delay here, so just bear with us while we work that out. So yes, we have Juliana joining us. We have Colleen. We have Miss Hermie over there looking beautiful in her white. And we got Victoria up in the corner in her lovely black today. So Julie, I want you to tell us what's going on in the world in Canada. What's up with COVID?
What's going on? Well, we're having an exciting time in Toronto. We're still in lockdown at this time, and we're in the process of getting out as much vaccine, first to the elderly and the workers in long-term care. Next online is people who are over 80 and also the healthcare workers. So I'm very excited. Yes.
My most important thing is I know that you took the vaccine. You took number 1 and you took 2. So what is it? What did it feel like? Because I know you did it very early when it basically just came out.
Yes, I was there the second day to get my vaccination. As a leader in long-term care, this is something that I take very seriously. And we know that COVID-19 affects the Black population with very negative outcomes. So I was very proud and very excited to be amongst the first to take that shot. And as a leader, it sets an example for the many other people of color and all the other healthcare workers. It sets the pace to say, this is something that we need to do, not only to protect ourselves, but to protect our families and also protect those that we care for. So I didn't have any side effects. I would say after the last one, I had a bit of a sore arm and I felt a bit tired. But other than that, I felt so empowered to have something to fight this blight that is on the whole world at this time. So for me, it was a relief. I'm encouraging others to get it. You know, a lot of people are very fearful. They say they discovered it too fast, and how did they test it properly? They have to realize that people are dying on a daily basis. There's over a million, more than a million people who have passed away. This is astronomical. So anything that they have to help fight the COVID-19, I'm 100% with it.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because there are, as much as there are people in healthcare, people in general who have all these ideas that the COVID vaccine has things that are going to turn everybody into robots. There's people who are just they're vaccine hesitant. They're waiting to see what's coming next, and there's a lot of things that are on the horizon. Over the last few days, it was put out there that Johnson & Johnson now has a vaccine that has been passed. It passed the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, to say that they're going to make that one available soon. And this one is supposed to be a one-shot vaccine. My thing is that if you've been slated to get this vaccine, whether it's Moderna or Pfizer or Johnson, I think at this point we need everything that we can get to have a fighting chance. And I know that people have opposing views as to where this is all going, but some kind of safety net is better than nothing at this point. So that's my point.
I see. I just got this in my mailbox yesterday, and it's this warning from Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's encouraging the Black community to not take the shot. So he's reminding the Black community, as he says, about the treachery that America has done to Black people. Especially, he talks about when they vaccinated Black Americans for polio, and it was cancer. So they're passing out these flyers now, which I say I have to get a chance to read all of it in depth, discouraging people from taking it. So I'm not really 100% there yet in terms of, I mean, I know later on down the road, I would have to definitely consider it heavily. I'm really not too much opposed to it, because I'm figuring, listen, if you have other people, taking it and it's for the greater good of everybody, why not? But I'm still a little bit.
I find it just very interesting, because I understand the history, but that was tested among just black people, right? So you're having a lot of different races that are taking this vaccine. I mean, I find it wrong to tell the Black community, who are dying in high numbers from COVID. That is, to me, that's crazy. You understand? I mean, if you are okay with putting your family at risk, your aunts, your mother, your uncle, whoever is close to you, your children, so be it. You do have that right. But I know for my house, my husband got vaccinated. My grandmother got vaccinated, my mom, my grandmother's sisters, and they're all in their 70s, 50s. And I would get vaccinated now, but because I'm pregnant, they're hesitant for pregnant women right now. But the moment that I give birth, I'm getting vaccinated. So I think it's foolish to tell people not to take it when you can see the number of people dying. We need a herd immunity in order to beat this thing. COVID is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, just like the flu never went anywhere. The measles didn't go anywhere. It's just because we're all vaccinated. That's the reason why a lot of us are not being affected by it. And it's the same thing when it comes to COVID. So my thing is, get vaccinated unless you want to experience COVID for yourself. Get the shot.
Okay. So listen, I just have one thing I want to call out some people. We have a lot of people on this call. We're drumming up a lot of interest today. It's crazy. We have L.A. Phillip. We have Samantha N. Fraser joining us. Good old Mr. Doug Howard. Thank you for chiming in. Margaret Raymond Mitchell. I see Selena Berzan George is here. Junior Noel, Cheryl Seeley, and Kimmel Frederick. Thank you for joining the top five. Today we have a topic that I know is already starting to stir emotions. Does the black woman expect too much from the black man? It's coming up. Before we switch tunes to that topic, I just wanted to hear Colleen. Colleen, we all know that you're from the beautiful island of Grenada. For me, my husband is also from Grenada. This year we got some, not this year, but this week, there was some news that was put out. Share that with us, please.
So yeah, the website nowgrenada.com is sharing that they're trying to get 60% of the people on the island vaccinated by July. And so basically we're looking at no carnival, which I don't mind, because I think when you look at the population of Grenada, which they have right here as 110,000 people versus the amount of people who died out here, I rather have no carnival and have people survive, right? Because again, we saw a massive amount of people pass out in such a short time out here. And that's one of my biggest fears. I always, had this fear when they talked about opening the borders and allowing people back in on the island. And then recently, several weeks ago, they talked about how many people who tested positive on the island. So basically, as it stands now, they're not having carnival.
Right. Yeah.
Here. And
I'm looking forward to returning there because I love Carnival.
I mean, Carnival is a big thing for us. It's a big thing. Culturally, it's a big thing. But I think, overall, our safety and the safety of the people on the island, because again, now you can travel, you have to quarantine for 4 days. And with the exception that you have did the test 72 hours prior to traveling, and you're going to have to quarantine in one of the government approved hotels. And there's going to be a flood of people coming in from all over. I know currently right now the UK is barred from entering Grenada. But again, it's just like they're basically, the article was saying that they are trying to get 60% of the people vaccinated, but then they're worried about the 40%. So if you have Carnival and you have 40% of the population not vaccinated, that poses a threat. And I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with that. I love my island. I love my people. Jump up in your community. Okay? That's all I have. Do the show, just be considerate of, and people that are traveling, please follow the protocols. If you're going to visit the island, you're going to visit family, just follow the protocols, because this is still a serious issue. They're still requiring you to wear your mask and, practice your social distancing. Please do that. But as it stands for now, they're basically saying that Grenada is going to see another year of no carnival this year.
Carmi, do you have anything to add about that? What do you think? Do you care? Does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me because I gave up carnival like years ago, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me. So I'm not even gonna put my opinion in this. It just doesn't matter to me. But what do matter to me, and what I do want to talk about, is today is the last day in February, and I want to remind everyone that February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Prevention Month, and I do have some literature on my profile. So mothers, please check it out, because the teenagers are not going to really pay attention to what I have to say right now. But at least you will have the information, and you will be the eyes and ears, so you can detect abuse during that time, so it does not escalate into the adult life.
Right. I just want to read some of the comments coming out. We have L.A. Phillip. She or he said, I think it's a she. She said it's too soon for Carnival, even if most of the people are vaccinated. And I think most people would agree. This is something that needs to be delayed. There's other ways that you can support Grenada. I know that Carnival brings in an astronomical amount of money to the economy. So if there's things that they can put in place to try and have that money stream, or at least some of it coming in during that time, Maybe people can just go on vacation and just enjoy the sights. Like last week, we talked about Annandale Falls and maybe
Yes.
just visiting, and like Colleen said, just making sure that you adhere to the rules and go and enjoy the natures of the island.
Yeah.
Go and dance on the beach. You could do all these fun things without having carnival, and you're going to be pushing money into the economy and helping that island to continue to grow and expand. Because I do think that they've done a great job with trying to keep COVID rates down. I think they're at 0. So kudos to them and the government over there for the efforts that have been made to keep things under control.
I like to
Very,
shout out.
very good.
I just seen one of my good friends here, Leo, Lenny, Edwards. Hi, I haven't seen you in a long time. Someone I grew up with right in the yard there. So great to see you. Bernice is saying they have the masses so scared. It's a virus, and everyone body handle it differently. Many die from the flu, but there's no hype on that. What happened to the cold and flu since they introduced COVID? I have to agree with you, but again, we're not dealing with the flu at this point in time. I think, yes, and they did talk about that. I think, correct me, guys, Flashy, he talked about that, like the flu. He compared the flu, Dr. Fashion, he talked about the flu and the corona. And he did say that the flu is more worse, right? It's worse than the coronavirus. But again, in such a short time, we've seen a lot of people dying. And yes, they publicized it a lot and they did up, but I don't think that because it's not, as dangerous as the flu, that we should downplay it because,
Let's talk real scientifically facts now in history. Now, when the flu came out back in I believe it was around the 1920s, right? A lot of people died.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did we do as a people to stop that? We gained herd immunity. I don't think people understand what herd immunity means. Vaccinations. But in between, even though we had vaccinations later on, we had a time period where we all were masked and we had to social distance. And it was for a very long time. And that brought out basically the roaring 20s, or what you want to call it. Everyone was happy when we were able to move on. Now, it's kind of like the same, but not the same. The flu, we got over that. And we all have herd immunity to it, obviously. COVID is a problem because it's filling up our hospitals at a rapid rate. Now, if we have so many people in the ICU filled to a certain extent and you are sick and you have to go into the hospital, you could be turned down because there's no room for you. So it's not the same. When flu season comes around, do we see that amount of people in the ICU?
No.
So let's not compare the COVID to the flu. It doesn't make sense. We need to get out of our mind. It's not the same. We just take it out. That's what's going to poison us as a community. It doesn't make any sense. Stick to the science, read about it, learn history, and educate yourself. Sorry, I don't want to mess up anybody, but it gets me upset. I have so many family members in the medical field that had to put up with this COVID mess, and emotionally, it hurt me. So when I see people saying it's not a problem and this and that, and I had to watch my husband go to work and deal with all these COVID patients, and most likely had to deal with some people in this chat that probably had to go to the hospital, it gets me very angry to see that people say, oh, it's not a big deal. But it's only a big deal when it hits to their home and they're affected. So it's important to be safe, get vaccinated, or experience the outcome for yourself. That's what I'm going to say.
And that's that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Landy, I think you're muted. We can see you're muted. Check and see.
So I didn't want to belabor COVID because I know we've spoken about this probably every week.
Yeah.
And we could go on, and I think we presented some really good points. And I want to move on to the hot stuff. We got some hot stuff coming up. So we know that February is the month of love, right? So I'm representing in red, and Julie's in red. She's my sister, so we kind of said let's wear red. We're we're representing love. We're representing renewing your relationships and things that you can do to spice up your life, and really maybe taking a relationship checklist out and figuring out where do you fit and are things going well for you. So in saying that, there is a man out there. His name is Kevin Samuels, and he is an image consultant, a personal shopper. He's had some really interesting things to say about what women are asking for, and we're asking basically for too much from the Black man. We're asking for too much when we're not ready ourselves. So I want, before we jump into this topic, let's take a break, and we'll be right back with some great video.
Woo!
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that serves immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funding. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitor's visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529, or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde. Law done differently.
Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We are going to dive right into the topic and the question of the day. Does the Black woman expect way too much from the Black man? So we're going to be sharing a video or showing a video from Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels' net worth is over $1 million. He's made this money as an image consultant to very wealthy people. He's a personal shopper as well as a style coach. This is where he has made his money. I think we have a clip lined up of something that he has said.
See, this is part of the issue. The part of the issue is women like yourself have all this attitude, thinking that you're way up here to where you're going to judge men and saying men are this or that. Men are 51% of Black men are single and childless, 64% in the middle class. It is harder for a Black man to find a woman that's working with no children than it is for a Black woman to find a Black man that's working with no kids. Most of you come with somebody's kid attached to you. And then you got the nerve to walk around when you're unfit, overweight, out of shape, and looking average, cute, or whatever, thinking you're way up here judging men who have more to offer than you do, and have the nerve to talk about your picky.
But shouldn't I be attracted to him? Even if you don't feel like I'm a 10, shouldn't I be attracted to my man physically? No. Why can't I be attracted to him? Why is something wrong?
Well, here's the thing. You keep asking me. Here's the thing. This is why you ladies got it confused. That's why y'all end up dying alone. Because you've been told you could have it all. You cannot have it all. Men aren't supposed to be the attractive ones. You are.
Oh boy. Oh Lord.
Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna have to take a sip of my wine.
Beautiful day today. Why we had to do this? Like,
It was. I'm sorry. It was.
Listen.
Who wants to start with this? Because
I'll start.
I'll start. I need something to fan with.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Victoria.
Maybe the approach was harsh, but you have to understand who he's talking about. He's not talking about every man, right? He's talking about a certain percentage of men. I think when it comes to him, I totally understand where he's coming from, because we all have expectations, and we're not looking at the man's side. Now, I feel like, okay, I might feel that I want this and that, and that's what I deserve. Okay, that's fine. But have you asked a guy what do they deserve? So, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. You know, he's a little harsh. It's a hard pill to swallow. But you really have to understand that, with the top percentage of men he's talking about, he's not talking about all men. He's talking about the top 10%. Remember, that's a little clip of his video that we're seeing, but he's saying that he's talking about men who are making in the six figures, 100,000, 300,000 range, even $1 million top executives, and what they're looking for. Because a lot of these women are saying that they deserve this, but they're not seeing what they want, and they're putting down a lot of men that are blue collar workers. They look down on them. Like, I don't want a man who's making 60,000. I don't want a man who's making 80,000. And that's so unfair, right? So you have to look at it at that point. He's being harsh, but that's the majority of America, guys. Most men in America make around that range. And you have a lot of women in this imaginary state that's thinking that, well, I don't want this man. I want this man. And he's not looking in those areas. And I kind of understand where he's coming from, his whole perspective. But a lot of women have to get to reality and understand that that's not what every man is. That's not where they're at. And it's okay. Not every man needs to be 100,000. And they need to know the statistics of how much a black man is making and the range and so forth. But I understand. I don't see it too harsh. I do understand where he's coming from.
You know what? He needed to say that then. He needed to be.
He did. He did. You have to watch the video. He did. Why did you watch the whole video?
I've been watching this man's video and trying to find out what pill I can take so my anxiety can cool down.
Oh, he does all the time. He says the top 10%, and he talks about high valued men. He talks about it all the time.
Yeah, he does talk about high value, but he's also telling women that they're not worth that.
Listen, he knows he has people that he consults that are high value, and they're telling him what they want. Example, like Colleen, if you have an expectation, you're talking to a consultant and you're saying, well, my consultant, this is what you're a whole bunch of high value Colleens. And we're saying, I want this in a woman. And then you have other women, the majority, that say, I want this in a man, which is high value, but the high value man that's not what they're looking for. So now it's kind of hard for you to find your love and your companion, because you have this false idea of what men are and not understanding that's not the majority. And that's what he's saying. He's saying in his videos, like, look, women, there's plenty of men out there, but you can't focus on 2% of the population or 10% of the population. There's not a lot of people who's making 100,000, 200,000. That's insane. Like, that's crazy. Now, if you bump into that and you have a percentage where you have to look at math, right? If you bump into that and that happens for you, great. But you have to open up your heart and understand that that's not the end all be all. That's basically what it is. And I've been watching his videos for a long time.
As you said earlier, you definitely have to track all the way back to your history. I think history is such a valuable thing. And also, it definitely is not only valuable for the mind, but is valuable for your worth, right? I'm not going to, first of all, Kevin Samuel, I'm not coming to you to ask you for shit, especially advice on picking no damn man, because I've been listening to him, not this particular video, but I've been listening to some of the videos, and he does make some very valid points in terms of, yes, what women want. Some women get into relationships with unrealistic expectations, and for that, you have to get that in check. Some people expect 6 figures, 7 figures, and you're not making any figures at all. But I think it goes both ways. But my issue here with Mr. Kevin Samuel is the way that he speaks and downgrades and downplay Black women. Now, imagine calling in with your vulnerable self, thinking that, yes, you're going to get the hard truth. But this man is not only giving hard truths, he is insulting. And as one of our guests talked about, like, not seeing the video all the way through, guys, please, if you have the time, you can go listen to him. I'm not going to, just I'm not going to be that angry Black woman as he spoke about. But I don't agree with all of what he's saying. I'm not going to wake up in the morning and feel like I'm a 6 or a 4. Based on somebody else's paycheck. I'm not going to lose who I am, my confidence, my worth, based on somebody else's income. Okay. And I feel as though right now, this is the year that a lot of women are on their grind. They're doing a lot of things, and now they're in that category and they're doing for themselves. So I don't get why we have to not want something that is great. Like, who would not want a man that's making six figures? Now, realistically, we're not all going to get a man that's making six figures. If the woman is making the six figures, great. If he's making the six figures, great. But I think money is not the root to a relationship. He could be making six figures and has a lot of issues. She could be making 7 figures and have a lot of issues. I think we have to come back down to the foundation of relationships. He is insulting. And I don't even want to talk about it.
I think it's because we have to understand in his videos is that he is talking about, you don't understand, a lot of these women that are calling in, they are saying this is what they're talking about, money. All of them are talking about money. So it's not like it's, he's automatically talking about money. They're talking about what they want, and they're not there either.
But the only thing about him is that, yes, these women are calling in and talking about money, but then he's downplaying all Black women. Like, don't speak to that person for that person. That lady that called in prior, not this one, but one that I heard. I mean, I would have hung up the phone, because after you tell me when I wake up in the morning, my face looks like a 6, and I put makeup on, I'm like a 7. Mister, I'm hanging up on you.
So, Colleen, let me stop you right there. Colleen, let me just stop you right there, because I know that everybody wants to speak, but I want to call out, there's a lot of comments that are being made and I don't want to lose any of the people in the chat. They're saying, somebody says that Geraldine says he is egotistical, arrogant, self-absorbed fool. We have yeah, we have so much comment in here. I just can't even keep up. Quinn says, if I were single, I would never be interested in a woman who cares about how much I make, period. Right? So there's a lot of different things, but there's another piece of the video. We have another video clip of the same conversation. The entire video is about 15 minutes, the piece that we have, but we can't obviously show all of that. So we have another clip. Can we please show the next clip of that conversation?
What would you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? Just your face. You cannot use 7.
A 10.
Oh, poor baby. Now let's try this again.
So I'm
You are not the most beautiful woman in the world. Cosmopolitan ain't trying to get you to be on the cover. People ain't deemed you one of the most beautiful women in the world. So let's go.
So what would you rate me?
I asked you. Since you want to bring looks about men into it, I'm asking you. What would you rate yourself? And the first thing out of your mouth was a lie. A 10. You ain't nobody's 10.
What you said?
First thing you came out of your mouth, you said you're a 10, and you're not a 10.
My face is not a 10? I don't have no makeup on, and my hair is not done, and this is all real hair.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
I think I'm definitely a 10.
Cool. I bet you do. So when was the last time you did any runway modeling or print modeling?
I've never been involved in that.
Why not? 10s, that's what 10s do.
Not all 10s.
Oh, yeah. Not all 10s, but you know what? You live in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. See, when you're a 10, people discover you at the bank, at the bodega, at the gym.
That happened when I was younger. My father.
Yeah. Okay, and we're going to keep on moving. You're not a 10. You're living in, and a lot of you ladies just say this shit because
I'm not a 10.
You're not. You're not a 10.
What would you rate me as? My face.
I'm not gonna. No, you're not a 10 because you're rating yourself up there with Rihanna and Halle Berry when she was young. That's where you're rating yourself. Up there with Diane Carroll. That's where you're rating yourself.
What you mean?
Charlize Theron. With Halle Berry in the 90s. Charlize Theron, Diane Carroll. You're ranking yourself up there with the Rihannas of the world. That's where you're ranking yourself.
Oh.
Stop asking this man to approve. Why do we need his approval? Like, I do not need your approval, Mr. Kevin Samuel, to tell me.
But why are you taking it personal? I don't take it personal. I listened to the same video. I watched the same thing, and I was very objective. I did. If he thinks I'm not a 10, then that's his business.
Exactly.
That's my business. But I'm going to say he has some valid points. And about ourselves and what we expect and what we do not expect. When I remember when I got both and I was getting back into the dating pool, I had to change my whole mindset because what was accepted in my 20s, men no longer accepted it in my 30s. Well, now talk about your 40s, forget it. Because now we have high quality men and high quality women. And what does that mean? I already know. But so I don't take it personally. I think we are taking it too personal. We should just be objective and take the meat out, use it to better our life, better ourselves, and leave the other stuff alone. I see more that it's bad for the Black community, and I try to figure out why you said that, because I think sometimes we as Black people, we have a lot of expectation, unrealistic expectation that we do not put upon our own. And I know I did it too. I was like, I wanted to make 6 figures. I wanted, and I was making like but I wanted that guy, and I had to go on. What I did, I went back to school, I educated myself, and put myself in a different bracket. And it wasn't a Kevin Samuel who told me stuff, but it was my cousin who had to sit down and say, this is what's going on, and this is what you must do if you want that in your life. I think we're just taking it too personal. I think we're taking it too personal. I listen to. I don't think he's stereotyping all Black women generally, and I really don't believe that. I think he's talking, as Victoria said, he's talking about a percentage of Black women and a percentage of Black men. If you don't fall in that category, you shouldn't fall in.
Exactly. What I'm trying to figure out, like, who says who falls into what category? Like, who gives him? Okay, so let's think about this. Let's look at it from this perspective, right? Basically, what I'm thinking is that a lot of women are looking into validation, some type of answer to that question. And then you got to think about those women who do not have all that confidence going on. And think about, you know, a woman calling in and asking this man his opinion.
But
and
she wasn't offended, Holly. She wasn't
offended. No.
She wasn't offended. She called him because she wanted the truth. And we cannot worry about.
She knows about him.
Women. Because when I had low self-esteem and when I had all these things that I needed to deal with, no woman thought about me. I had to go into my space, whether it's counseling, whether it's therapy, whether it's reinventing myself, and present myself how I think the world.
Hamilton, you know better than that. You know better than that. You are speaking to women on a daily basis, and you know that yes, you would have to reinvent yourself. But what about the women who can't, who need that help from somebody else to reinvent themselves? And not
then don't look at him though. Don't look at Kevin.
Again, it doesn't matter how you go about it. He should not be speaking to women like that. You could go back.
I think you take it personal, Carly. I'm not taking it personal.
Hold on a second. Hold on a minute, ladies. Hold on a minute.
It's hot.
Hold on
in
a
here.
second, ladies.
Put some air conditioner in this room.
Julian.
Yes.
I want to hear from you. Where do you stand on this topic? You've been quite absorbing. I want to hear your mouth because I'm sure you have something to say.
Okay, I do. So we're only seeing it piecemeal of the video. The people who are calling in, they know what he's all about. He doesn't mince his words. He tells you like it is. He is an image consultant, and he's working to get people into relationships that are meaningful. So if she calls an image consultant and she doesn't put her A face on, he's going to cut her down to size. She can be a 10 herself, but part of his job is to judge people and say, well, this is what I can do to make you look better. So maybe you'll have a better chance of being in the circle where you'd like to aspire to be and catch your man. But my thing is, when you're searching for somebody that you want to spend your life with, are you looking for a man or are you looking for a lifestyle? There's a big difference.
Yep.
If you want somebody for companionship, for love, to be there till death do you part, it could be a manager at McDonald's, it could be a plumber, it could be somebody who's a garbage man who's making a consistent wage. He's coming home at the end of the day working a 9-to-5 job, and he's there with you to do other aspects other than just look good in a 3-piece suit and flaunt around in a Jaguar. I find that people have become too materialistic.
Yep.
And you have to remember, this is a man. Men are visual beings. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to a man. They're not looking at all your good qualities, whether you're a Christian lady or whether you're kind and well-spoken and you keep your house clean and stuff like that. So you need to look beyond these materialistic things. If you're looking for a serious partner, this man is out to create sensation. He's on Instagram, he's on YouTube. So by putting these things out there, it elicits conversation. It gets people angry, but at the same time, you know what? This man is just bringing in the dollars. That's my point.
That's why I love my aunt. You know, I love my aunt because she's letting that's what he needs to do. Let me see his family. I'm curious to know where his wife is at, what he looks like. I'm very curious to know. And he's talking about.
He doesn't look like a 10 to me. The wife doesn't look like a 10 to in my eyes, but is a 10 in his eyes.
And it just brings me back to the point where, you know, women from back in the time, we have been going through this, you know, mill. Like they have been putting us through the ringer for all kinds of stuff. Like you have to look like this and you have to compete with that. And you shouldn't ask for so much. And your expectation should be this and that. Just leave me to be Black and enjoy my Blackness and my beauty for myself. Like I do not need your validation. Oh my gosh. I get upset with some of the women calling in. Hang up your goddamn phone. Why are you allowing this man to insult you over and over, and you're trying to like ask him more questions and go back and forth? Okay, thank you. You think I'm not a 10? Goodbye, because you have no good eye. You probably need to go check your eyes and come back. That's what you need, Mr. Samuel.
So, Colleen, I have some things I'd like to say about Kevin. So one of the things that he had said further on in the conversation, he had a child from a previous relationship. He basically said that you can't be a 10 because you already have a kid. And I find that was very harsh because there's a lot of men out there who are out there sowing seeds all over town. My father was that man, and nobody judged him. He was very good looking. My father had his own businesses. He did all kinds of stuff. And, you know, nobody would say that discount him as a person. Nobody would say that, you know, like you're trash because you've had a child. So that I think was very inappropriate. His delivery is a bit harsh. One of the things that he did say that I thought that was good is that if you are out there and you're seeing that there's no good men, where are you looking for these people? And are you leveling up your own self? So this all goes back to the question that we posed at the beginning. Are Black women looking too much or want too much from a Black man? I definitely don't. I feel like I deserve to have the best. My father told me that I deserve the best. And if I'm given the best, then I expect to have the best. I'm not going to settle for just anybody. And it's not just about making the figures. I want my money to be up too, because my father also told me and all of my sisters, I come from a family of 4 girls. We were always told, make sure your money's right. Always make sure that you can take care of yourself. Regardless of who you're married to, make sure you have your own back. get your education together, take care of yourself, wear the best clothes, drive the best cars, do all of this for yourself so that nobody could tell you that they made you because you got your own self. That's my point.
We have a caller on the line. We have a caller on the line. We have a caller on the line.
Caller, welcome to the top 5.
Hello?
Thank you for joining us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm good. Who's calling?
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me. This is Beck from Virginia.
Oh.
You know, can you all hear me?
Yes. Very well.
Okay. I'm calling in to agree with Victoria and Julene about Mr. Kevin's statement. Now, you know, and I also could understand the misunderstanding that Pauline could perceive from Kevin's statement. You know, there is also a statement that grass could look green on the other side. Mr. Kevin, I think, was referring to a specific class of men, a particular type of men, and referring to these ladies. Now, I would tell anyone, if you're not in that particular class of men or women, he really wasn't speaking to you. You know, it's okay, it's entertaining that you could listen to him, somebody get aggravated, but you know, he makes and I think everybody could agree, he made a lot of valid points that I know that a lot of men would agree with, where I'm supposed to looking for a mate or looking for, you know, someone to be with. And he was referring to these guys that are in the top 5 or 10% of money makers, even if it's in the black community. So, I mean, I've looked at his videos and I have spoken to other men and women about it. And, you know, the reviews are mixed, but I totally understand where he's coming from.
Thank you for your comment. I'm sure there's a lot of other men and women who share that sentiment, but I feel that one of the things that is standing out is his delivery of the truth might be catching people off guard, but there is some value in some of the things that Kevin has to share. Thanks for calling in.
There are so many. There's a guy in the audience that said we are ignoring the men in the audience.
Lenroy, we are sorry. We did not mean to ignore you. We're not ignoring you. It's when the comments come in, it just goes up. We miss it, but we are not ignoring you. I guarantee you. We see you. He wants the number to call in. We would love to hear what you have to say, definitely, because you know, he said, I feel left out. I feel left out. But you know, again, he does make valid points because, again, some people come in asking for unrealistic things. But also, you have to understand that you are to protect your Black women. Yes, you can tell them the truth, but again, just imagine you have a platform. People are listening to what we are saying right here today. Just think about the influence that we're having. Now think about the influence that he's having on other men out there. Now, these other men could also misinterpret his intentions. And what happens to those women out there when they go out and they're insulting, like, okay, you don't fit into my category. You don't look like a 10, or, you know, everything is about looks. I think we have to be very careful with how we are dealing with ourselves as Black women, and what it is that we're accepting.
So I think it's the problem is, I think for everyone, they're misinterpreting it. Again, he is an image consultant. Let's define an image consultant.
I'm not misinterpreting. There's nothing about what he's saying. He's insulting. He's insulting Black women. That's all I see about him.
Right.
And I don't, and let me tell you, he's not even fly. Okay? He's not even all that fly. Because what is his brand again?
So an image consultant is supposed to give you advice about ways to improve public image of an individual or organization, and et cetera. That's Google's definition. Now, if a lot of these callers that's calling into his show watches his show faithfully and they know how he is, Colleen, you're not going to call him, right? Am I sure you're not going to call him? Yeah, because you won't, because that's not you're not into that. But these people want his advice. This is his job. It's like going to a doctor. What would you want to get the medication or not?
Okay,
go
so
to a holistic.
When I go to the doctor, am I expecting my doctor until
that's a different thing. It's a different,
no, it's not. You just said that. You just said that.
I said if you're going to the doctor, do you expect to get medication or not?
No, I'm not expecting to get medication.
Yes, you are expecting to get
me in a professional setting. If I need medication, prescribe it, but don't insult me.
There's doctors that do that though.
All right, so 1 minute, ladies. 1 minute. Time out for a second. Time out. Let me just I would love to hear from Lenroy. I just want to tell you our phone number is 718-701-5720. Please. If you have a comment to make and you want to weigh in on this topic, please call in.
Yes, my aunt said it. Image consultant, Maya. Yes, my auntie. I don't know what he's image consulting. You are not professional. Like, again, you are coming off as this professional person who's using Black people to make yourself and make your name. Okay, buddy? Because that's what you're doing. You're coming out insulting people. And you know, another thing why I would not call him Victoria, because I love my people. I love my melanated people. And if you cannot treat us right, talk to me nicely. Talk to me nicely.
So
my thing is, does anybody remember?
Go ahead, Julie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, does anybody remember Hell's Kitchen with that famous cook in there?
Yes.
And how he insulted
exactly. No one said anything about him.
He will rip them to shreds, and at the end of the day, he gets results.
No one says nothing.
Yes.
No one says nothing about that.
No, it's always a Black man, though.
The same thing Kevin Samuels is doing. People are coming to him. They are not. He is not seeking them out.
Exactly.
He will give them the truth when they call, and he will tell it like it is. Your image is not up to par. And he's been working with men for more than 5 years. Men were his sole customers. Now that we had the lockdown, he's going more into women and consulting with them also. So things are coming out. And he decided, he's going to be frank. He's going to be sassy. He's going to do what he needs to do to get his message across, and at the same time stir controversy. This is what's making him money. It's making him famous, and at the same time, people are listening. They're saying, "Okay, I'm going out today. Maybe I'm not looking my best. Maybe I need to put myself together a little bit proper so I can attract the person that I'm trying to seek."
And you know what? It's the same thing when it comes to Samuel Cowell. He's very insulting too, and no one says anything about it. It's like we are okay with them insulting all these other people. We have never had a show to talk about, how insulting they are telling other people. That's what he does. I'm not going to say it's all about the Black community. No, that's just what he does. If you call him, it's on you. That's on you.
Geraldine, whoever you are, I love you. Geraldine, you're giving me life right now. I love you. That's exactly what I thought about him.
That he's insulting us?
Geraldine said he is a house Negro.
Yeah.
Way too far now.
But at the same time,
and Boy said he is insulting.
But you know what? But you see, Hamelin, you said that's going way too far.
That's too much though.
That's the real
definition. Let me do
it. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, think about it. That girl that he spoke to on the phone.
He had no problem with it.
And he downplayed her. Now think about the damage that he's doing to her.
He didn't do no damage to her because
he didn't. Yeah, stop making her a victim. She's not a victim.
She didn't leave crying. She didn't leave defeated. She didn't leave anything.
She's not a victim.
Right.
No, she's not a victim. Who's a victim?
she knew what was coming in, and she knew what she was
Let me
going to
tell
do.
you,
I'm not feeling sorry for her.
when people come on to the Steve Harvey show, they know that Steve Harvey is blunt. They know that he's going to tell you the truth, but he's not insulting.
Well, that's a different image. You have to understand when it comes to Brock, like,
and Steve Harvey is fly, and
different.
Steve Harvey has more than $1 million.
Yeah,
and he has that
Colleen,
platform.
when it comes to show business, everyone's image is different. Steve Harvey's image is totally different than his image. It's not the same. We can't compare it. Just like I could say, like we talked about the chef that was insulting people. That's his image. That's his marketing tool. Everyone is different. We cannot compare other celebrities and say that they should be like that one. Everyone's image is different. If you know the business,
but it's okay for him to tell women that they're not a Rihanna and they're not a Beyonce.
She asked for it.
How is that? How is
that? This is many shows.
Right. You're telling women they're not up to par.
Let's take a time out. I just want to make a comment here.
Really,
we will not agree on this. We will not agree on this.
We're not going to agree on this one. I just want
make a comment.
Call out one more comment. One more comment from somebody. We have
this is from Patrick Andrew. He says there are more successful Black women out here than men. So big up, ladies, big up yourselves. Guys like him ride around in their Mercedes by themselves, profiling. And that is so true.
Thank you,
that
Patrick.
Is so true. Thank you, Patrick, for saying that.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Thank you very much. So I wanna change gears just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yes, thank you. Yes, he is condescending.
All right.
Condescending man.
So I just want to change gears for a minute. So I want to talk about the 1950s. So in the 1950s, milk was still delivered to the front door, right? In the 1950s, the war had finished in the 40s and stuff like that. Men were usually the breadwinners, maybe the sole breadwinners of their families. And marriage during the 1950s was at an all-time high. So I came across this great article that basically talked about what you need to do to take care and look after your husband. And this came from a newspaper, from Home Economics book, and it was placed in the paper. And it says, a woman is supposed to do this: have dinner ready, plan ahead, even the night before, to have a delicious meal on time. This is a way of letting him know that you have been thinking about him and are concerned about his needs. The next one, prepare yourself. Take 50 minutes to rest so you will be refreshed when he arrives. Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, and be fresh looking. He has just been with a lot of work-weary people. Be a little gay and a little more interesting. His boring day might need a lift. And the comments go on to there's about 7 different comments about things that a woman should do to please her man and to keep her relationship in check. Mind you, the important thing is that marriage was at an all-time high. Where are we in 2021 with our marriage rates? What do you guys have to say about this?
I mean, like that was the 1950s, but there's some points that may be valid, but not all of them, right? So, I think we discussed this before, to say that it's like a marriage is basically a partnership. So where your husband or your spouse, significant other may lack of, and you want to make sure that they are in a good space, just as well as they also make sure that you're in a good space as well. But the 1950s and 2020 is totally different when it comes to the marriage part. A lot of women at that time were not working. So it all depends on that person's marriage. But when it comes to marriage in 2020, in our millennial, we are at an all-time low. There's more divorces than women are staying together in their marriages due to different circumstances. And it could be from abuse, or sometimes women say that they outgrow people and they end their marriage, unfortunately. But it's just totally different now than before. And it's kind of sad that marriages are not lasting long like before, because it's such a beautiful thing. But it's definitely 2 different time periods.
I think definitely women are working more now. They're out in the work field, so they really don't have time to be preparing the meal, not unless they're preparing it on the weekend. when I come home, I'm tired. Sometimes I'll pick up something, and that's dinner. I can pop a glass of wine and have a good time and relax with that. But basically, this COVID thing has really reinforced how important family is, and making you more appreciative of having everybody at the table and keeping them safe. So, the tips that applied in the 50s, I don't think they apply so much, not at this time.
I think some is applicable now for if the woman is probably in the house. If the woman is out of the house, that would be pretty hard. Back in the 90s when I was home, I did most of the stuff that's probably on that list. Now today is different. So I wouldn't, that wouldn't be applicable to me coming home from work. We all coming home around 5, 6 o'clock and doing so. It would be like shared responsibility. Now, and I would say probably just to have the fun of it is switching out the ribbon into a wig. That would be
Yeah. That is making it
no bows, but we.
There's a lot of comments that I went on further to look at the article, and she said basic things like listen to him. Like, listen, you might have a lot of things to tell him, but be aware that he just came in the door. Allow him to unload whatever he has to say. Don't don't get into arguments. Minimize the noise in the household. Make him comfortable. I don't think that any of those things have anything to do with whether you're a woman of the 50s as opposed to a woman who is, working and doing all of your things. If you want to have a successful relationship, listening is paramount. You have to learn to listen, because if you don't listen, you're going to be missing so much of important information. These things are basic tenets of a relationship, and you can't have two people who are trying to be the same role. A woman is a woman.
And it goes both ways now. It goes both
man
ways
is
because
a
when
man.
I come in the house,
Yes, I
don't wanna
work
hear
and I
that.
do
Yeah, I don't
all
want to
these
hear
things
that.
too.
Yeah,
I don't either.
yeah. So like in 2021, it goes both ways. Like I don't want to, even with my kids, please don't bombard me with like stuff that is not necessary right now. Let me wind down. Let me go take a shower. Let me get into something comfortable, and I'll come and we'll talk and we'll listen. So some of the things we could just change it up a little bit to suit then now.
Yeah.
But as you said, Landy, it's still valid now. I mean, I don't know who, well, I don't know, but more, how our Caribbean parents taught us, and even my mother taught me, is like always look decent at home, whether it's a tank top, booty shorts, tank top, leggings, tank top, a baggy, look presentable. Just for yourself when you pass the mirror. I want to, like, when I pass the mirror, I want to be like, oh, I like what I see in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to go get myself together for
I wonder if
living with it. I get myself together for myself.
does the birth.
We have a comment from Quinn. He says, or she, social media is one of the biggest culprits, giving both men and women false perceptions of the reality of relationships. And I think that's so true. We're all searching out and trying to be perfect. The reality is when I get home, I'm tired. I don't have time to make dinner. Sometimes I have 3 grown kids, and sometimes I have to call ahead and say, can you make something tonight?
Right.
And getting me comfortable, I have to scrub from head to toe as soon as I run through the door. I can't have contact with anybody, right? Because I'm in the field, I'm in the trenches, I'm in long-term care. So, and then at the end of the night, it's important to sit down and talk about your day. How's it going? Show appreciation for each other, and know that sometimes it's okay to disagree too. We're not perfect. We're human beings.
Right.
It's a very stressful time that we're going through. Stressful more than anything else. Anytime a child wants to go out, you have to think about, are they going to be wearing a mask? Are they going to be social distancing? How many people is going to be there? Because you don't want them to bring anything home. You're kind of terrified. So family is important, and putting yourself and having self-care looking good for yourself is important. And big up your man and your kids when you're ready too. Show appreciation.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, ladies, this show has been really, really busy, and we were talking over each other, and the audience wants to call in. And that man wanted to call in. I'm sorry you didn't make it to call in today, but join us next week. Top 5 is always here live at 5 o'clock. We welcome your comments. We love people to disagree. We love people who just love to just spend this hour. We thank you for being here. And anybody have any last comments before we close out?
Stay safe.
1619 project. It's
Pardon
going
me?
to answer a lot of your questions. I'm telling them to read the 1619 project. It's going to do a lot for you. It's by Nicole Hannah Jones, and she's talking about our history. So just to top it off, Black history, just making sure that we're staying in touch with ourselves, loving our Black selves, and appreciating all of who we are, because we're fine.
I want my last one.
Amen.
Is it?
Amen.
Define yourself. Don't let anyone define you.
Yes, life.
Beautiful.
Love you, my
Yes.
Grenadian
Okay.
people and people all over the world. Love you guys. Great
We're all
show.
fed.
Bye, guys. Thank
We're all
you for
fed.
being with us. Have a great week. Bye.
My Willis Massive, Wendy.
My sister Keisha, thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Thank you, Clarence and David. Hello.
Thank you, Geraldine, Quinn.
Bye,
Everyone
Philip.
that came on. Yes, Geraldine was my girl today. Okay.
Bye, Samantha. Patrick.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funding. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funde, law done differently.
I found the Alzheimer's Association of New York, and I decided to get involved. So at the time when I found them, they were planning a trip to go to Albany to do some lobbying to get more money for research and different things that they were trying to push along with their agenda. So I said, well, I want to go on this trip because this is going to be something that I can do, that I can feel like I'm involved in trying to help this cause, because Alzheimer's does seem like it's a very hopeless disease, but it does take people gathering together to to get things done. So I ended up going to Albany with this group of people who I never met before, and I was told to walk around and talk to politicians and tell my story about why am I here and why this is important for them to support. So everything from that just kind of snowballed. I made a really, really good connection with the group who was there. A lot of them were people who interact a lot with the government agencies and so forth. So they brought me under their wing, and I told my story, and it just ballooned from there. I decided to become an ambassador for my area, and my goal with that relationship was to build a relationship with my local politicians here and the ones that represent in Washington, to let them know what was happening with Alzheimer's, give them information, let them know that we need their support and so forth. It just opened a whole new world of people to network with and people who felt as passionate as I did about this cause, and I still do to this day. In 2020, I was nominated for the Carnival Award, which is the award for advocacy work. So I was really, really proud of that.
What you do makes a difference, and you get to decide what difference you make. All Pro Health Staffing, www.allprony.com.
Yeah.